In this Fextralife video, we're going to be taking a look at Blue Protocol Star Residence, which is a new anime-inspired MMORPG that just came out and was developed by Shanghai Bokura Network Technology Co. Ltd. And was published by A+ Japan just a couple of days ago. In this video, we'll cover what the game plays like, whether it's truly an anime MMO, and what you can expect when you dive into Star Residence, including its shop and what you can buy in it. However, before I get into the game itself, there are a couple things that I want to mention. A big shout out to A+ Japan for sponsoring this video. If you guys like what you see in the video and you want to check out the game for free, you can use our link below to download the demo and see if you enjoy the game. So the game begins by creating a character during the character creation aspect of the game, and this is probably one of the strongest features of Star Residence in my opinion. If you've ever wanted to play an anime MMO where you make your own character and you have a lot of attention to detail and a lot of customization, you can absolutely do that in the character creation of this game. You might spend an hour or two there depending on how much you love character creation. I myself am not somebody who goes crazy on character creation, but it's definitely there if you want to get into it, and you can make your own anime character to play in an MMO with. So that's the very first thing that you do. And once you finish with character creation, you get to choose from one of 8 starting classes. Each has their own style of play. They have their own skills, they have their own gear, and they have their own talents. And some of the classes are kind of their own unique thing, which I find really cool. I myself selected the marksman character, so you'll see in my gameplay a lot of marksman gameplay. This is a agility-based class that uses a bow and has a wolf for a pet. Might remind some of you guys of a certain class from a certain game, but it's very much, you know, your traditional range marksman character that you would find in a lot of games. But you also have the Verdant Oracle, who's basically the healer type archetype of the group. You have the Heavy Guardian, who's kind of the tank class. You have the Frost Mage, who is sort of the mage, de facto mage class. You have the Shield Knight, who's kind of like a paladin. The Wind Knight is a lance-using class that's kind of unique. You have the Storm Blade that uses a scythe, and you have the Beat Performer, which uses a guitar. If you like guitar-type music, then yeah, you're gonna like that character or class. Once you're done with that, you'll begin the game and you'll be dropped into Regnus, the world of Star Residence. That is the name of the planet, and you'll quickly learn that you can't remember who you are. And the beginning of the game has a ton of background and world acclamation, which you may love if you're a fan of anime and anime-type games. But if not, I highly recommend just stop doing the main storyline a little bit into it and instead just wandering around the game world, fighting enemies, world bosses, fishing, gathering resources, doing dungeons, and things like that. When I was playing, I kind of made the mistake of following the main plot for far too long. It was just really easy to keep doing it. It would put a marker in front of me and I'd just keep following it, you know? And before I knew it, I was like almost all the way through the main story and I hadn't really done any other activities. So keep that in mind when you're playing, that like you don't have to just do the main story. You can branch off and do side quests and other quests and other activities as well. It's very easy to get sucked into the main story and just keep doing it. But I highly recommend, you know, just messing around and exploring if you like that aspect of MMOs as well, because you don't have to just keep doing the main story. So content-wise, besides the main quest line, which I said I just did too much of, you can do side quests, and there are other quests like daily quests as well. And these are MMO quality quests, by the way. Like, some of them are interesting, but the vast majority of them are quite simple in my estimation. So don't think you're getting like highly complicated RPG, like deep level of quests. These are MMO level of quests. And beyond questing, there are of course dungeons that you can do alone, or you can do them in a group with other players. And you can use the matchmaking tool if you don't have friends to play with to find other people to play with. And you can group with up to 4 other people for a total of 5 in some of the dungeons in the game. I only got to do a few of them during my playtime. They don't seem like super long or anything like that. They definitely seem very different from each other from what I can tell so far. And I did enjoy the bosses at the end of each of the dungeons. They all seem very unique. Because I was at the very beginning of the game, some of them were very, very easy. I expect this to increase in difficulty as the game moves on, but the designs of them and the mechanics of them were somewhat compelling so far. So I definitely think it's going to get more and more complex throughout the game. I just don't have a ton of experience with that. There are also raids in the game that are called World Boss Crusades. There are world bosses throughout the game which allow up to 20 players to face simultaneously. I think these spawn periodically from what can I tell on the map. I was playing on a private server pre-launch, so there weren't a ton of players around like there will be at the launch of the game, or you know, when you're playing now, because the game is already launched. But they are supposedly requiring like a lot of coordination and teamwork to take on, and they're supposed to provide some of the best crafting materials in the game. So if you like large-scale boss fights and raids and you miss that in MMOs, or maybe, you know, that's something that you're really looking forward to, then this game absolutely has that as well. There is another activity in the game called Trial Path that allows you to sort of test your DPS on monsters as you have to defeat it in like a certain amount of time. It's kind of like a DPS check, if you will. It's kind of like a way of testing like how fast you can defeat enemies, and it escalates to higher and higher and difficult enemies. It's like you have like an NPC that's like tanking the enemy while you're just DPSing it as hard and fast as you can. And as you go higher, you get more and more rewards. And I think it's probably like how you could kind of skill check your character. Like if they're high enough to take on certain content, it's kind of an easy way to tell. Like if you can't get past certain trial things, then you're probably going to have difficulty in certain dungeons or raids, etc. There are also guilds and player housing in the game. This is not something that I had a lot of experience with due to the fact that I was playing early, but you can invite your friends to play in your guild and chat with guild functions, and you can invite them over to your dwelling to show off like what you've done with that and things like that. So if you're looking forward to those functions in your MMO, those are also present. I know there are other games out there like this that don't have those things. So, you know, this is going to be a big boon for people looking for an anime MMO. Crafting is also present in the game, and it seems quite complex from what I've gleaned so far. Not only can you upgrade your weapons and improve their damage, but you can improve their tiers as well, further enhancing them. Frankly, there's a lot to do in terms of crafting in this game, and it's kind of overwhelming when you first start playing, and I'm still not sure I completely understand 100% of the systems that revolved around crafting, but the long and short of it is you can salvage, upgrade, and improve weapons and armor in many different ways, as well as skills. You can improve those too. So if you're looking for character customization, crafting is going to play a big role in that. And as I mentioned earlier, some of the best crafting materials supposedly drop from the raids and the large world monsters. So that's going to play a role in like what kind of gear you can make. And as I mentioned earlier, you do get talent points that are related to the class that you're playing. And these are just basically gained from leveling up. And you can place these points in talent trees that allow you to pick specific nodes. So you can kind of go down different paths. So you have a little bit of different gameplay elements or a little aspects to your build depending on which way you go down the talent tree, which is, you know, even further customization, which was nice to see. Talking a little bit about the shop of the game, it seems to be mostly filled with cosmetics from what I can tell. I spent quite a bit of time looking through the shop, but you can definitely buy things in there that will improve your character as well. There are things that like will, you know, upgrade your weapon, for instance, or maybe provide more XP or things like that, that can give you an advantage, like in terms of your leveling or progression over other people. But if I'm honest, I'm not exactly certain to what degree that is. Like there's obviously like levels of how much you can, you know, do this from game to game. But I didn't get far enough into the game where I could really understand like where the bottlenecks are and where you may have to spend money to get through those bottlenecks. In the time that I played, which was about 8 hours or 9 hours, I didn't have to spend any money at all. So I don't know where that's going to be. It may be like, you know, to make your gear stronger so that you can get through dungeons faster, or maybe to gain some XP in a certain way, or maybe to get more talent points. I don't know what it is exactly, if I'm honest. So it's not like I can say, but there is certainly an element of progression that you can actually spend real money on. So if that's something you're wondering about, that's absolutely there. You may need to check out other videos to see like to what degree that is, to decide if that's something that, you know, is too much for you or if that's fine. The biggest draw of this game is easily the anime aesthetic that carries completely throughout the game world and all the dialogues. And I think fans of anime will probably have a hard time not at least trying the game out to see if they like it or not. If anime is not your thing, I think it's very likely you wouldn't enjoy Star Residence. I myself love anime. So, you know, when I heard about this game, it was definitely something that I wanted to check out. But if you are an anime fan, I'd urge you to just at least try it and see if it's your jam. It's free. There isn't a lot of risk involved in it. Honestly, I think a lot of people have been waiting for like a true anime MMORPG for a long time. And though there are some games out there that have come close, they've had some elements of anime and MMO. I'm not sure how many have actually managed to combine them completely. And I think Star Resonance is probably the closest thing to that at this point. I don't know if they absolutely nailed it with this game, but they're probably closer than most games out there in terms of anime MMORPG. And I think it's likely too that this game will get better over time. For instance, I'd love to see them voice more of the dialogue in the game. The voiced scenes are by far my favorite part. It reminds me of real anime. I mean, I watch a lot of anime myself. I live in Asia, but we'll have to see what they do over time. I'm really hoping that they end up voicing more of the dialogue throughout the game because it's really well done in the parts that it's voiced. All in all, there's very little risk to the game since you can try it for free and decide for yourself if it's worth your time or not. And if you want to do that, you can use our link below to support the channel and download the game and check it out for yourself.